So here's the thing. Recently, Paramount put this tweet out, which is probably really pushing the character count. For those who don't want to read this, I'll put it into simpler terms. The third Sonic movie has already started pre-production, and they're making a Knuckles TV show spin-off for Paramount+. That's right, boys, they are actually fucking doing it. The Sonic Cinematic Universe is a real thing now. Okay, so listen, I naturally have an apprehension to cinematic universes. My problem is that they're just really hard to get into. I just sort of don't like the idea of having to watch hours upon hours of something else to watch this new thing. But let's say you just want to watch the Spider-Man films, well then you gotta watch Iron Man, and you gotta watch the Avengers, and you gotta watch all this other shit. You know, that's just sort of my problem with cinematic universes. At some point they just get too big for their britches, and it's worrying. Now, do I think that, Sonic will reach the level of MCU? No, I don't. But it's just sort of a natural apprehension. Obviously, this is just a personal thing. I know a lot of people really like cinematic universes, but it's just me. So, this tweet kind of came as a surprise, because we're still in, the hype phase for the sequel. So it's really weird that they would say, oh, by the way, we're making a third one. You'd think you would let things settle first. You'd let people get hyped, the second one would come out, people would enjoy it, it'd probably be a success. I fucking doubt it won't be. And, you announce the third one, a couple months down the line. But you can go into pre-production, it's just that's normally how it's done. It's just kind of weird that they announced it now before the second movie even comes out. Now, of course, it's not unheard of to put sequels into production before the original film even comes out. Shrek 2 famously was put into production before Shrek 1 even came out. And obviously now with a lot of cinematic universes, that's just how they work. It's still just kind of weird to see it, I guess. Now let's talk about the movie first. So, the second movie looks like it's going to be good. It's following the plot of an actual game, so I'm pretty sure a lot of people will be excited by that. The first film, Sonic 1, was a fine film, on its own. Obviously for a video game film it was really good. But just as a, movie in general, it was pretty whatever. That's commonly what a lot of people said. That's one of the main criticisms. It was just kind of a whatever film that was just really good for a video game movie. And while that was pretty fine for the first film, they're going to need to really step up their game for the second one and show that they can make a good movie beyond that. The novelty is worn off, so to speak. The reason why a lot of video game movies, tend to suffer is because they're trying to make a story which is meant to be, digested over the course of 6 hours into an hour and a half, or, if they're going for the really long end, 2 hours. It's just something that doesn't really work. However, when you take older games like Sonic 3 and you take that story, which is relatively very simplistic, I feel like that's, where success will be. I feel like that's a lot more easy to do, and if anything, they'll be stretching it out for an hour and a half. Show Knuckles, have him be a dick, Eggman betrays him, and then he ends up working with Sonic. It's just a nice, simple story, and, it can work. The problem that I see is, going forward, what would the Sonic 3 movie even be about? What would, if they're going to make a 4, which, if they're making a universe, they probably will, what the fuck would that be about? A lot of people I've seen bring up that they would want to see a teaser for Shadow at the end of the second film, but if we're talking about adapting the plot of Sonic Adventure 2, then that would be a fucking mess for the third film. What I hope that they keep doing is that they keep on the track record of introducing 2 characters and a story element from the game, because you got the Sonic 1 introduces Sonic and Eggman and just the dynamic and all that. Sonic 2 introduces Knuckles and Tails and the Master Emerald. If they're going to keep going with this, I'd hope that Sonic 3 would probably introduce, say, Amy and Metal Sonic and the Chaos Emeralds. That seems like it would just be a natural progression. The plot would be about, trying to track them down. And that I just feel would be better overall than jumping right into an adventure-era game. Especially a game like Adventure or Adventure 2. Those games only have stories that really work because they're told in a medium that can only be done through video games. I mean, arguably you could probably do the same thing for a book or a TV show, but definitely not for a movie, the way the stories work in those games. So I doubt we'll see an adaptation of at least Adventure 1. Maybe they could do something with Adventure 2, just, cut out Knuckles, you got basically the plot stays the same. But I don't really think they should be adapting stories from the Adventure era. As good as those stories are, it just feels like that they would have to make a lot of changes in order to make the plots work for a movie, or just cut a lot of stuff out, which I feel like a lot of people wouldn't really be into. I mean, imagine trying to tell the story of Sonic Adventure 1 in an hour and a half movie. You can't really do it. They would either be jumping around way too much, or there would just be a lot of story elements that's just straight up cut out. The reason why an adaptation of Sonic Adventure 2 probably wouldn't work if they did it right after the second movie is because they would just have to introduce a lot. Amy is important to the story, so we'd need to get her in there. then Shadow would be important, and then you'd have to introduce the Chaos Emeralds and, Rouge and all this shit. It'd be a bit of a clusterfuck. It'd be like in the Mario movie, for example. Like fucking Donkey Kong. Because either they're going to be a glorified cameo and might as well not even be there, or they're just going to make everything feel all cluttered. I just don't have hopes for the Mario movie. And now on to, the main attraction. Knuckles is getting his own fucking TV series already. Listen, I like Knuckles. I like Idris Elba voicing him. He sounds very good. And when I first heard this news, I was like, really? Knuckles? Like, of all the characters I would give a spin-off series to, my initial thought would be not him. Like, anyone but him. Like, even just in, the movies, I could see, Tails or just someone. Anyone other than Knuckles getting a spin-off series. But then I thought about it a little bit more, and I kind of realized, oh, Knuckles is the guardian of the Master Emerald. He will not be going around on a lot of adventures. He's going to be pretty stationary, so it probably would be good for a TV series. But then the problem arises of, who else are you going to have, Knuckles is a stationary and isolationist character, naturally, so while it makes sense for a TV series, who's going to be... You can't just have a show that's just one guy constantly fighting off bad guys who are trying to take this one thing, There's got to be, side characters. Who the fuck is it going to be? The Chaotix? I mean, maybe, Knuckles Chaotix is a thing, but, I don't know, it just kind of be weird to see. I just hope that, there's no, confusion, because there's going to be 2 Sonic TV series running at the same time, because Netflix is doing Sonic Prime. And then there's going to be this Knuckles show, and they're 2 different universes, and it's what the fuck? I just hope people don't get confused. For a lot of people, this may seem like oversaturation, and for me, it's definitely worrying, how far are they going to milk this cow? Obviously, there's still passion behind it, but I just worry that, at some point, we'll be getting, Sonic Movie 4, and it's okay, we get it. They'll need to put in work if they want to keep this going past, I'd argue, the 3rd film, and, maybe another spin-off, depending on what happens. I hope that the movie's fine. I hope it does well. I'm really happy to see, genuine hype for this. And I hope that the 2nd film is able to stand on its own. And the 3rd one earns its right to exist by the 2nd one being really good and, giving us something to work with for the 3rd film. But yeah, I'm probably going to watch it. I mean, I'm definitely going to watch the 2nd one. I'm probably going to watch the 3rd one when that comes out. And I'll probably even watch a couple episodes of Knuckles Show, even though it's probably going to be made specifically for kids. This is a kids franchise after all. I'm well aware of that. Alright, I think I've ranted enough about this. I'll just sort of wrap up here. I'll just this is going to be a nightmare to edit. Closing thoughts. It's a bit worrying that they're rushing right into Cinematic Universe. The show is an interesting one. I feel like it was just a bit early to announce these things. And just I hope that, it doesn't get oversaturated or over fucking hyped. I'm Sir Strongman, and that was the thing.